What is up, Honey Badger Nation? I am, I'm excited to jump in today. We've got a legend in the house. Last week I had the Godfather, Mr. Kyle Whistle himself, and then having you, come in right after him is absolutely amazing. And so, for you guys that don't know, Jesse is definitely the legend when it comes to video and YouTube channels, and really founder with him and Jackson around channel junkies and what you guys have been able to do. And I look at a lot of the those that are crushing it with their video content, their YouTube channels have all come across your path, right? Come across what you and Jackson, I feel, really kind of carve the way of how to leverage YouTube and video content to really explode your business. And for a lot of you guys that haven't had the opportunity to meet Jesse or get connected, we had them both almost back to back, had Jesse and then had Jackson on back in 22. So,
oh, nice.
So episode 175 and then episode 178. And, here we are, episode 265 of Expert Mentors. And good to have you back on, brother.
Thank you. Yeah. It's funny that you, I think it's really good to have people back on a cycle. Is like, we've done some podcasts where we're like 3 and 4, cycles through, because things change, and when you bring in, someone that might be on like a hot trend, at the time. But I mean, there's been a lot of roller coasters, and, Kyle Whistle was actually a big inspiration of ours early in the game, about getting into video. He was actually one of our guests in our first podcast that actually led us down the path to discovering YouTube, so it's kind of cool to see how all of this goes full circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, man, I'm ready to dive in with you. I know, the previous conversations you guys worth, checking out when you get down to the fundamentals of how to leverage YouTube for real estate business, and then attracting your ideal clients through it. And, when I step back and I look at YouTube and video content, and I start to talk about pillars in an agent's business. And I mean by pillars for building a solid foundation. And I look at YouTube to be one of them. One of my very dear friends, Alex Piak, here in DFW, that's the only thing working for him right now is his YouTube channel. And, being in DFW is like one of the toughest markets on the planet. The best of the best are here, and they're doing everything. And so for him to be able to say, and he'll make, $500,000 this year just off of his YouTube channel. Yep. And it's the number one thing that's working for him. And so being able to understand the power of it, how it's a core foundation in no matter what you do. And to me, when I, think about a P&L or a balance sheet as an asset, I think of your YouTube channel as an asset, right? 100%. It's an asset over there that needs to be built.
Yep. Yeah. And, I was just looking at our Houston metrics last night. It's our number one channel, and year to date, it's closed 660,000 in GCI. So I was looking at the stats, and I made this post in the group, and I was like, in the last 28 days, our channel has generated an average of 10,000 views a day. It was actually 10,060 views a day. And the average person spent 10 minutes and 54 seconds on our content, and it was being shown to, multiply that out by 20. That's the average for impression rate. So you're 200,000 impressions. It's showing that to people that want to see us. Dude, if you were to buy that, imagine you can't even have that many conversations with people on the phone. And so, I was listening to Mr. Beast interview last night, the old Joe Rogan one he did 3 years ago. And Mr. Beast was like, YouTube wants to see, one great video. They don't want 100 crappy videos. And when you open up your homepage, it's the most like clickable videos that they know that viewer is going to spend the most amount of time on. So in this world where everyone is like now focused on short form, reels, shorts, and TikTok, we've stayed steadfast on the YouTube long form front. We've actually increased our length of our videos, because what we realize is, like, if somebody makes a 30-minute video, the average view duration is about 10 minutes. And then for every 10-minute increase after 30 minutes, you get about another average view duration of about a 1-minute click on that. So if you get up to 30 minutes, you're going to get 10. Then if you go to 40, you're going to get 11. Then, 50, you're going to get 12. If you go an hour, you're going to get 13 minutes. So when we see like an average of 10 minutes and 54 seconds per viewer on our channel per day, and you're getting 10,000 views, dude, that we're talking like 52,000 hours a month of viewed content, which is crazy. And then people always want to ask like, well, how many views equals a deal and this and that. And there's absolutely zero metrics out there that you can run to give you a number. It just, we know that YouTube wants the longest average view duration per viewer. And what Mr. Beast was saying is that if you triple the effort you put in your video, you're not going to get the triple amount of views. You're going to get 10x the amount of views. It's exponential. So if you get a 10% increase in average view duration, you're going to get 5 to 10x growth on your channel, which is so true. So like in this world where you hear a lot of people say, just shoot the video and get it out there, just shoot the video and get it out there. We coach so many agents and the top YouTube agents in the country now. I can see a clear night and difference between the agents that, even have a videographer and they're just focused 100% on content, generating the deals, and then letting their agents handle the transactions, because that person, is putting 100% of their effort into the content. And, we used to be in this model where there was no competition. So you could pretty much put anything out there and it would work. Well,
right.
Now, when you get, Dallas, Fort Worth, you get, 500 agents all doing YouTube, and there's, a consumer moving to that area. YouTube is going to choose a video to throw in front of that person, and whoever gets the longest average view duration, that's how YouTube is going to reward that, creator, is because the viewers watching that video the longest. YouTube wants to keep people on their platform the longest. And, there's the new terminology coming out called parasocial, which means people think they know you by watching your content. So that's why when these people call you, they just lose their mind, and they're like, they feel that you are a celebrity, they know you and all the things. So it's just really cool to be able to have this platform where people can get to know, like, and trust you, and then you solve their need. And that's why I always say it's like, it's literally the top of the funnel. Like, we all know that people used to talk about the process of buying and selling, like the discovery phase, just like in the sales funnel with anything, is like, just doing the research is at the top of the funnel. Guess where everyone's sitting now? YouTube. It's been like that forever. I think last year there was a study done that said that it was like 80% of home buyers say that their preferred method of home search was YouTube. Well, they're not out there looking at homes. They're actually looking at areas, because when COVID hit, it gave everyone the freedom to move about the country. So that's like when we saw a massive explosion in our business. And even year over year, our business is we're still closing 150 to 200 homes a year off of YouTube. Our business has stayed steady. We have multiple channels. So, times have evolved. And so that's why when we were talking a little bit before, I was saying the times have changed. Like, and that's why now I'm like so steadfast on talking about the average view duration, because that is literally the core metrics that YouTube is judging you on.
Gotcha. So what, and you go back to, I like to look at kind of like from a NAR statistic with buyers and where they value, right? So buyers value eye candy, and they value, video content.
Yeah.
Of the home, that really starts to draw them in from that awareness phase, right?
Yep.
And so being able to leverage your YouTube platform from, top, middle, bottom, down to consideration, down to making a decision. And so being able to have, those different pieces of content on, on your channel, right? Because you do have awareness stuff, right? So like you said, is the trend down to properties? Is it down to areas? Like where is their initial search to where the awareness phase really has to kick in, and what's so critical to have on your channel?
Yeah. So really what it comes down to is, let's just say you're moving to Portland, Oregon, and the only city is Portland. You don't know about Beaverton, Hillsboro, Salem, Woodburn, Forest Grove, any of those cities. You're just like, I only know Portland. So what a lot of people do, and where a lot of people get tripped up, is they're like, I'm going to dominate this secondary market that nobody knows about. So if anyone's moving to, Portland, they only know Portland. So they're on YouTube searching living in Portland, best suburbs of Portland, best cities near Portland, blah, 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 blah. So that's what we call a driver. The core city is the driver. I don't care what channel where you're making content. If you're 50 miles outside of Dallas, my channel would still be called Living in Dallas. Every video I would do would be Dallas something, because the consumer is searching Dallas. They don't know about that city. And then through your content, they're going to discover these small little suburbs outside of the market.
Yeah.
So realistically, you got to think of like, where do people start their journey at? every market is different. And this is like, we have 11 channels in 11 states. So we have a really good sample of what different techniques work in different markets. So like in Houston, we focus primarily on, like you just said, eye candy, right? Dude, you can buy a freaking 5,000 square foot killer house in Houston, Texas for $600,000. Yeah. Your property taxes are going to be 24 grand a year, but hey, it's going to be $4 grand a month in property taxes. And, but people love that. So we spend a lot of time focusing on new construction, home tour in the community. And that's how we're able to do these, 1 hour long videos. That same philosophy is not going to fly in Portland, Oregon, because there's no new construction up there. It's very minimal. So then you have to go to a different tactic and figure out exactly what people are searching for, which is done through search engine optimization. And really the way that we cracked the code on this was just putting ourselves in the shoes of the consumer and thinking about, what was I searching when I was moving markets? I keep talking about moving because the core business of YouTube is relocation buyers. It's about 95% of that business. And the reason I love that clientele so much is, one, their credit scores. Like, I've tracked all the data since the start of time. Our average credit score is over 720. Our average down payment's like 18, and our average price point's in the 600 range. So it's a very good consumer that you're working with. And typically people relocating have money, and they're, job relocation, whatever it may be. So I really love those consumers. So it really just stems into like, what is the core audience moving they're looking for? And then you start making the content based around that.
No, I love that. And a lot of people, it's like, well, I want to focus on the listing side. Well, that buyer, and you look at, you have to get your head around, lifetime value, right? Mm-hmm. So think about that relocation buyer. That's just less than 10% of the true value of that entire relationship. And it's, they're gonna move. Most agents, I mean, you guys are in for a ride, right? You're in for a career here. It's not, if you're going to go the YouTube route and build out a channel, like, you ain't doing this as a hobby, right? No. Like, it's just part of you're building a career, building a business, and, having that and being able to pull in somebody and understanding lifetime value that less than 7-8% of the entire value of that relationship is done in the first transaction. So, you keep building now that relationship. You're gonna get them again when they move. They're gonna know people. There's gonna be referrals. Oh. And so understanding the full lifetime value of that relationship.
Even with regular real estate, and that's why, like, even in my headline I put like beyond social media influencer, because I got really offended when I was at this meeting a couple of months ago. There was a very prominent leader in the room, and he said, "Oh, you're just an influencer agent." And I was like, "Wait a second, I killed it in regular traditional real estate, but I just like this model so much better. It's massively leveraged." So I shifted all my focus into it. But post-closing automation for any agent out there is in my opinion is key, because that stat is out there. 90% of people said they'd use their agent again, but only 8% do, because agents have no follow-up. So even if you're just using HomeBot, I use Celebrity Agent. And to your point, all of our clients, when people relocate, they don't even care. They just literally, like, they move and then they're like on to the next house. When I moved to where I'm at now, I moved here, bought a house 2 years ago at the peak. I literally just bought another house, 1,200 square foot bigger, 3 blocks away. Cause I'm like, this is where I should have bought, and this is what I should have bought. And so people that relocate move very quickly. So the listing business and our business is skyrocketed. Mm-hmm. And now all those people are cycling through. And this is actually what happens a lot with the YouTube agents, is they kill it. And this is what I always tell agents is, do you really want this? Because one, people think they want it, and then it starts to happen. And then they're like inundated with too many leads. Actually, we have a channel that we've gone through a couple agents on, and they're like, this is crazy. I couldn't even imagine this. And I talked to my buddy who owns an insurance agency, and I say, look at these messages, dude. I go, these agents can't handle it. This is insane. Too much business. You never thought you'd hear that. But it's just, these people are just moving so fast. And then you just got to have them in the system that gets them. But then, you get the anchor families, like you said, that move out, then they're sending you referrals. And then it just becomes this big giant orb of clientele. And so that's why, if you're not a good business builder, and a lot of these creators now are getting in the game to just generate leads and refer them off. And that is a model that we teach as well. So I get a lot of stay-at-home moms that do YouTube, and they're like, I just want to generate one closing a month and hand it off and just collect a referral fee and make $5,000 to $10,000 a month. Okay, perfect. And then they spend an hour a week making their content. They have a camera guy, they send that to their editor, and it just works like clockwork.
Yeah, it is a machine. And I think, Jesse, kind of break down, agents right now. I think a lot of agents right now are priority confusion, deleted focus. And so, really making the commitment to go all in on YouTube. What does that mean? Right. Like you said, it can be as big or just one deal a month, video. But like if you're going to, I'm the don't commit and figure it out. Right. What is it going to take for it to be successful? Let's reverse engineer that. What is it going to take? And is that something that I can commit to? So like if somebody's going to commit to going all in, and I think you should go all in with the YouTube channel. If they're going to go all into it, like what do they need to be like? Okay, I need to be prepared for this, and this before I can truly commit to it.
So it's funny that you even, because when you speak about this, because I'm like, agents put so much effort. This is a front loaded lead generation platform, like anything else, it's a pipeline game. So what happens is agents put in a massive amount of effort up front, and then the results come, and then they're like, wait, this is becoming too easy. And what I was going to say a minute ago actually is what we saw through that has happened with the listing side is when the listings start to happen again, like when the buyers go through these cycles, because they happen a lot quicker. The average person buys and sells every 7 to 10 years.
Yeah.
With YouTube, it's like 3 years. And so what happens is these agents become inundated with listings from all the buyers that they help buy, and then they stop making content. Then their pipeline dries up, and then now they're back to square one, and they're calling me saying, hey, my channel isn't generating any leads, or my channel is like, I've neglected it. So what I would tell an agent is, even if you don't know how to turn on a camera, and I hear people say like, it doesn't matter what you use and all these things. I think that's crap. Even like what Mr. Beast was saying, he's like, triple the amount of effort you put into your video, because quality does matter today, especially with the amount of competition out there. But if you didn't, what I would tell an agent is I'd say, look, if you want to get into the game, this is what I would do. Personally, when I first started, I used to shoot all my own videos. I would edit my own videos. I'm good at figuring things out. If you're like, I don't know how to work a camera, I would say, okay, then I need to hire a videographer that's going to help me. Then I would hire a great coach. I would hire someone that's already done it before, has the game plan, and then plan on no results for 6 to 12 months and budget the money for that. So let's just say I'm going to budget 30 to 50K. And this might sound so crazy to someone, but say like, this is the investment I'm going to put into my business. Agents hate investing into their business for the most part, but you could do this all, even if you did it on your own, you could get it done for very inexpensive. You could probably do it almost for free. But if you're someone that needs help and you have the money, and I would also figure out, is this going to work in my market? And do I want to make it work in my market? Because different markets are going to yield different results. If you're in Texas, massive opportunity. If you're in Florida, massive opportunity. Carolinas, Tennessee, massive opportunities, because that's where all the relocation is happening. And that's where the massive influxes are happening. Arizona, the list can go on. You start getting in these outer boroughs, and it's kind of hit and miss. The thing that I really find interesting is I'll get these brand new agents into the industry 2 years in, and they're stepping out of production, and they're just destroying it on YouTube. And they're like, I don't even want to sell real estate. I just like have an agent here that's handling all my deals for me. So a lot of people might even be watching this and saying, what do you mean you're on camera and someone else is working the deals? And that's exactly what I'm saying. My wife does it too. She has a channel in Boise. She does her content. She does 1 video a week. She probably spends 3 hours. She has a videographer. He films the videos. He sends it to the editor. The editor cuts the videos. She has a channel manager that manages the channel, puts the videos up, and then she's pulling in, a really nice amount of money, more than the average in the real estate industry. And she's literally spending 3 hours a week making content, and that's it. But that's all she wanted to do. She wanted to be able to, work an hour or 2 a week, generate a good income, just extra money for us, and let someone else deal with it. Bless another agent that wants deals, and it works out for everyone.
Dude, I love it. I mean, I think, as in real estate, right, we know there's so many ways to, attack this business, and finding, obviously leaning into kind of strengths and personalities. Somebody that is not great on camera, or like this is not, in that regard, like who maybe a better question for you, Jesse, is like, who shouldn't do this?
So the one thing I know is, okay, so big teams are very adverse to YouTube. And the reason why is because I know that they're just like, I don't have the time for this, this, and that. So if I was talking to a big team right now, I would be hiring an agent just to do my YouTube content and go out and film the content, let it generate the leads for the team, and let the leads round robin the team. It sounds crazy, but I just know this is what the deal. I ran a big team. I know all the things, and I'm just like, this is too much effort, and I don't have time to go out and film. Trust me, this could be injected into any large team. I have a channel right now that's in limbo, and I'm literally going out and interviewing big teams to handle the lead flow to come in, because I know this is perfect for their model. I operate it like a Zillow Flex program. So when you ask me like who shouldn't be doing it, is if you're just like, I hate video, you're negative energy about it, all the things, those are probably the people that shouldn't be doing it. And it's not for everyone. But what I am, it's such an interesting platform, because the reason people gravitate towards short form content, with which I always correlate short form and long form like this. Like short form is entertainment driven, long form is educational driven. It's people go there to learn. People go to short forms to be entertained in quick bursts, right? So making shorts and reels is very simple. You can bring up your camera, put it in vertical, shoot your video wherever you're sitting, throw it through CapCut or whatever you want to do, and boom, it's posted, and you're in and out in like less than 2 minutes, right? Or whatever it may be. If you're in the long form, it's a commitment, and you have to be prepared and know it's going to kick you in the teeth, and you have to enjoy that feeling. And what I'm telling you is, when you drop your first video, you're going to get a couple of views. Then you're going to drop your second video and you're going to get 5 views. And then you're going to be like, well, I should share this with all my friends and maybe put some money behind it to boost it out there. And that's just going to destroy your channel. So like I'm saying, it's just this painful journey. And we've started multiple channels, even outside of the real estate space, that have been wildly successful. But every time we start a new one, it's the same journey over again. Yeah. And that's just the way it is. And there is no shortcut. We do know some video titles that will just freaking blow up pretty quickly. And we've had a bunch that have, gone viral with over 1 million views on their first drop, but it's not happening all the time, and there's no guaranteed solution. Right. It's just making great content, giving the people that what they want to hear. And like I said, if you're just like one of those people that are like, I suck at technology, okay, you're not going to be the person that probably upload your videos, edit your videos, but you can build a strategy that can work.
Yeah, I love that. And I think it's like you said, right? Finding, the opportunity within the marketplace, even if some, like you said, are going to dominate where people are constantly moving to, I still see value in being able to have it even in markets that don't, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just to be able to create, like you said, the influencer, the authority figure of the marketplace.
When I was heavy in the listing side, I used to take my channel on listing appointments, and I'd say, and with the way that the real estate industry is going, who knows what's going to happen, that now there's appeals and all that stuff with the plaintiffs, go figure, right? The European model favors the buyer's agents. Like a seller will call a buyer, 500 buyer's agents, say, hey, I have this house for sale. So I'm like, now I'm the one bringing all these views in. That if I have all this leverage, and that's what I tell sellers too all the time, is I say, look, I have this channel that I'm getting 10,000 views a day on. I've got all of these people, in my back pocket. I'm not going to bring their house on my channel, but they use it as like an authority piece. And it just naturally gives you a one up, because when people say, what separates you from your competition? I'm like, well, this right here. But here's the thing. The biggest driver of views on every channel is the city that you're located in. So people locally are watching. So we've even changed our messaging. Our old structure used to be the hook, the call to action, which was about 2 minutes long into a video. People are bouncing during that now. So we've changed our whole structure. So now what we'll say in our videos too is we'll say, if you are local and you're watching our content, we do work with local home sellers and home buyers. So feel free to give us a call if you're someone here in the local metro. So now we do get a pretty good amount of local buyers and sellers calling us, because what we realized is we were excluding all these people when we were just talking about relocation.
I love that. And I think that's just being in tune, paying attention to the data, paying attention to really the analytics and really what's happening, right? So being able to make those adjustments. And you brought up kind of the shift in NAR settlement. So as an agent and, already having a channel or building a channel, what are some of the things that, like, hey, based upon what we know today, what we know now, like what are some shoulds and should nots moving forward with the changes?
The biggest thing that I get about from agents, and this is like a smoke screen to just not do the content, is really just, your what's the violations called? When people are like, you're steering.
Oh yeah.
And redlining. What is that called? I just can't even think of it.
I'm lost there too.
Anyways, you get a lot of people. What's that?
It'll come to you.
Yeah. So anyways, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, all these violations, whatever. And I'm like, no, that's just not the case. Like, you're not like picking up the phone and taking someone to an area they don't want to see. So, with the whole NAR thing coming up, and we get a lot of people that they'll say, you showed my neighborhood and, you didn't talk good about it. That's steering. And, they'll turn us into the MLS or whatever it may be, this local state authority. Dude, I've been investigated more times than I care to even say. And every time nothing ever happens. This is like, I actually worked, I worked with the NAR attorneys, fair housing violations. That's what I was looking for. Fair housing violations, because all these agents, when we first started this, they kept saying, this is a fair housing violation. This is a fair housing violation, blah, 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 blah. I worked with the NAR attorneys and they like reviewed everything. They're like, nope, if you're not, if someone calls you and you're not taking them in the house, they have to be a client, right? All these things. So we worked through all that. But with the whole NAR lawsuit now, the one thing that I've been working with our agents on is, and I've been doing this since day one, is the buyer broker agreement. The thing is now with it being enforced, and I am licensed in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. And Washington has always been in the forefront of all of this since day one. And they actually enforced the buyer broker agreement in January 1st, 2024. So you already had to get it done. And it says right on the contract that your agent needs to get this signed upon your first meeting. And if it's not, basically, if you don't, the seller doesn't have to pay the commission, which is crazy. And they give the buyers three options. Is option A is, basically, this is the amount I'm paying my agent. If they're not paying this, what are the options that you're going to give your agent? Negotiate, come out of pocket, or just you don't even want to see the house. So it's been very interesting to see that. And now you see the Washington State MLS saying that they're not following suit and they're not going to remove the commissions and all these things. So I get to see the best of a lot of different MLSs since I'm in multiple different ones. But I've been telling the agents since day one, but even since we've announced this, hey, when these people call, because a lot of people are calling now saying like, what's going on, especially the sellers. It's like, here's the situation. If we're working with you past this date, we're going to need this agreement. So we might as well just get it done now. And what we like to tell our clients is, reach out to us. And if you're coming to town and you're just exploring, we'll give you a self-guided tour. We have this process now in place. So if they want the self-guided tour, we have them sign the buyer broker agreement. And what we've realized is, some people do call you just to use you, and they'll be like, well, I'm coming out, I'm interviewing 10 agents, all the things. Well, some states now, when they're say like, have you signed this agreement with any other agent? So it is saving you a lot of time from wasting a lot of time, which is what the buyer broker agreement should have done from the very beginning with these agents anyways. But a lot of agents are so scared and they just want to show, everyone's in this whole like value driven world of, add value, add value, add value. It's like, dude, I'm getting 52,000 viewed hours a month. Do you not think that's enough value given to these people? Now they're reaching out. So I think it's interesting when you see these stats coming out now of, buyers being interviewed saying, do you know how your agent was paid when they helped you buy a house? When I go on my listing appointments, I always say that to the sellers. Are you familiar how I get paid and the buyer's agent gets paid? Oh my gosh, that's a great lead into like the commission conversation, because sellers just hear 5, 6, 3, 2, 1%. And then they like try to grind you down and they're like thinking going from 6 to 5 and their mind's like, that's a small number. Well, $800,000 house, you're talking $8,000 here.
Yeah.
Like, come on, let's put some numbers behind these things. So, just having those conversations up front, and I don't think anything should be hidden anyways. So it's just a really interesting time. And, I keep saying, let's see how this thing shakes out. I have agents that work with us in Europe and in Australia. And I hate their models. The agents complain about it. We're going back in time right now, and we'll just see what happens in the next couple months, if it's even going to go down.
Yeah. It's just, it's moved. They've moved it. Like it could be just a moving target. You never know. And
I just saw that NAR. I just saw an Inman just a minute ago before we got on. I got the alert saying that NAR is going to the White House. So their attorneys are going out there to meet with them. So I'm like, with these appeals with the plaintiffs now, it's like I don't know. It's like a coin flip. I'm almost hedging the bets on the side that it's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's wild. It really is. It'll be interesting how it plays out. And so, but what I'm taking is that, like, there should be nothing changed in your strategy and your approach with your video content. It all comes down to being able to get people to have a conversation, and then it's how you handle that conversation. And I think with what you're doing, and we know this from pre-YouTube days, right? When we had to create authority and celebrity in different facets, right? Where were the eyeballs? Which for us, where we created that authority was radio, was TV, was billboards, was direct mail, like doing all of those other things to create that before YouTube, before social, and really, go where the eyeballs are. So I think, to your point, like you said, and it's funny, because just the inside with Alex, I get to talk to him all the time. He's like, dude, it's funny as shit, man. People, call, they don't even realize that, that I'm the guy on the video that they're actually talking to. And then they're just like, you're the expert. I trust you, whatever we got to do. So I think, even if best practice of getting the buyer rep agreement signed, talking about compensation, how we get paid, that is best practice, right? To me, that is the consultative selling, really coming from a professional services type of approach. And so when you do the things and you create authority, they're going to be like, okay, whatever. Yeah, let me sign. I trust you. Because I've watched enough of your content that now, and it goes back to my work, goes back to trust. And I had early on in the expert mentor conversations, I forget who I had on, but he said one of the things that really resonated with me. He said, no matter what changes happen in the real estate industry, I believe it'll always come down to a decision of trust.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And what we're able to do with YouTube is create trust, right? We're building authority, we're being authentic, and we're staying consistent. So times time, right? That's my favorite definition of trust is just authenticity times time is what builds trust. And so when I hear agents like, man, these, my clients, they're here, I was like, bro, you just haven't built enough trust in the marketplace yet. Like, what are you doing to build trust? And right now, to me, this is the best vehicle to be able to do that.
Yeah. And like you just said, I'm not going to change what happens. Like, I would love to think I have that much power to it ain't happening. So it's like when COVID hit, everyone was freaking out. I told the team, I said, guys, keep your heads down. Just keep doing your thing. We'll make content. And our business went from, our business 5X in 2020 and then at 10X the next year. It was insane. And so I'm not going to let this thing do anything different, derail me. I'll make the adjustments as things happen. But as we all know, like, if you were to interview every real estate CEO, not one of them is probably going to tell you the same thing of what they think is really going to happen. And even when you hear Leo speak, he's like, a couple of them are going to emerge out of this if it goes down. And so I will roll with that. And right now we can only control what we can control. And that's our inbound lead flow now. And it's just keeping that communications open. And it's funny, I talked to Jackson, and he's like, when I was a new agent, and he's only sold 2 houses, he'll tell you that. And he's like, I'm the worst agent on the planet, which I think is funny that he always uses that. But he's like, everyone would always ask me is how many houses have I sold? And I said, because you don't give out a persona of confidence. When I went on listing appointments, the first listing I ever took was a 10,000 square foot mansion. And the seller never once asked me how many houses I ever sold.
Yeah.
It's because I walked in there prepared. I walked in there to sell his house, and I came in there to get the listing. And then the same thing happened with buyers, is no one ever asked me any of those questions, because if you give them the sense of safety and security and the trust, like you said, it just all goes out the window from that point forward, and you're driving the ship, So I think a lot of agents will try to fill up the space with, verbiage or, try to say things to, add that value. Once again, we're on this whole value thing. And that's where I kind of feel like the game's kind of getting faked, and it's real interesting. And another thing that kind of drives me nuts too is when I see like agents now making fun of other agents on these short form videos. It's like, dude, we're in an industry together. Yeah. Like, all you're doing is crapping on ourselves. I don't like that.
Yeah. Back to your point, right? What is it? The Jordan Belfort, 4-second rule, right? Authority figure, sharp as a tack, enthusiastic as hell, right? You gotta, if you do that, you got them, right? They're like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. And so, no, I think you're spot on. And, control the controllables, right? Whatever happens is out of our control. Once we know the game, we can flow with it, but it's not going to matter, with what we're doing is putting out content, because that's not, they're not going to search you, to be like, how am I going to, have to pay on this product? Like, that's all going to come down in the conversation that you're able to have. So Jesse, how do you guys stay at the forefront of like where to navigate the waters and the trends and being able to just stay on top of things?
Yeah. So one is we have 11 of our own channels. So we're in the analytics every day. And I think this is like where we have like a really unique angle into this situation. And before YouTube, we did everything. It was Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Google, SEO, all that stuff. And just YouTube really rose to the top really quickly for us. That's where we saw like a massive trajectory. So that's where we decided to go all in 100%. So one is we're still in the trenches every day with the real estate side, but we're also, so you have me on the real estate side and you have Jackson on the YouTube side. And I do cross over into the YouTube side as well. So I feel like we have the best of all worlds, and we have our agency with, dozens of clients. So we're managing all these channels. We have a really good team of support. Our director of our agency, he's a YouTuber. He's got like, a couple million subscribers on his personal channel. We've got a couple good key players, but our understanding of marketing, what humans want, understanding how to read and analyze the data inside of YouTube, understanding the drop-off rates, being able to analyze the videos, seeing why people are dropping off, why people are engaging with the videos, what point are they sharing, what point are they, stopping the videos and repeating the videos, and just really understanding. This is why I say every channel and every market is created differently. So when I see these other coaches come in and they start pushing like home tour style videos, I'm like, that's great for certain markets. It's not going to work for all markets. So this is why people start YouTube and then they drop off, or they just don't stay in there long enough because they're getting the wrong information. They're using a tactic that works in another market, but it might not work in their market. So that's why we say is like, depending on what your market you're in is going to dictate to you which style of videos you start to do for your channel. So for us, that's like really, what our competitive advantage is. And, it's just always trying things. And, in the investing that we've done, like we ran into a serious problem in 2023, like on the first half, like in Houston, Jackson was basically getting his ass kicked by another agent down there on YouTube. And I told Jackson, I'm like, you better figure this out. So if I were to pull up our graphs, you'll see it's like flatlined for like a year of like, 1,000 views a day. And then right when we switched the method, and we actually invested a ton of money into coaching from someone at YouTube to really help us understand, even deleting videos off the channel, and understanding which channels we had videos that were being shown to hundreds of thousands of people a month that weren't getting clicked. And that video, it could have been replaced by a video getting clicked. So those are called anchor videos. There's like 7 different segments of videos. So there's like anchor videos, kite videos, driver videos. There's a bunch of different terms, but that video was being shot out in front of hundreds of thousands of people and it wasn't doing anything. Well, guess what? When I went and looked at that video, there was a video that was called one of our Portland videos. It was called Living in Portland, Oregon, Mount Tabor. Mm-hmm. Well, there was 5 arsonists that were arrested on Mount Tabor. This is a very popular park. Well, that video was being shown to people that were interested in that arson. Well, guess what? Those aren't people relocating. So what is that video? So what's happening there? It's driving our video to people that are uninterested in what we're showing. And so it was causing a lot of problems for the channel. And so once we started really figuring out that, understanding what audience that was being directed to, because people always say like, you don't need to delete videos, you just need to make better content. That's 100% false. So that's why, when we've spoke at VidFest Global, VidCon, we are the leaders in that space.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people, we would revolutionize this stuff. And even in the YouTube space with creators, events with Mr. Beast and all these people, they're looking at us like we're crazy. Well, they're shopping and catering to a whole different audience than what we are. We're a very niche audience selling real estate. YouTube does not care about our real estate sales. This is why you have to do it differently. So, going back to your point of like what, how we can do that, it's just understanding the data and being able to really read it and understand exactly. I can pull up any video on any channel right now and I can tell you what worked on that video, what didn't work on that video. Should you do more videos like that? Should you not do more videos like that? I can tell you, obviously what your drop off rate, average view duration, whether it performed well, because people are like, oh, I have this great video with a lot of views, but my click-through rate might be low. Well, because YouTube, everyone will say this now too. The click-through rate on videos are around the 4 or 5% mark now. Well, they used to be around 13, 20. Well, YouTube tests the video now out in front of your core audience and your subscribers to see how it's performing inside of your core audience and then it'll just start blasting out to more of an audience, because their whole goal is to find more viewers that will watch more content on their platform for longer. So they're always trying to find more people to watch your content. So if you and I have 2 channels inside of Dallas, and they're watching me for 10 minutes, but they're watching you for 9, they're going to start sharing my content to your audience and vice versa, and not the other way around. They might share your video with mine a little bit, but because I'm getting more of an average view duration, they're going to keep testing me out in front of other people's audiences. That's why longer videos with longer average view durations is so key.
I love it.
And I'll tell you this right now, I'm seeing a lot of AI stuff out there. AI is the destruction of YouTube. And even Google has came out and said this. Google owns YouTube. They said if people are going to use AI scripts from ChatGPT or AI generated thumbnails, they're going to throttle your content. We've seen that happen really quickly.
Yes. My team member that helps with a lot of our copy, she's very mindful of that. And she was like, listen, she uses Jasper, but she has her own, style to it, and she knows what she has to change up and she knows what she has to put in. And she said, we can't just copy and paste. They're going to throttle us big time. And not that we do it anyways, but it was just, exactly what you just said.
Well, a lot of these companies out there started running these faceless channels, and they would say, pay us $20,000. We'll create you a faceless channel. Once you make your $20,000 back, we'll split the ad revenue. I've known multiple people that bought into that, and then they had 100% money back guarantee, and all of them got their money back. They're like, this just didn't work. It worked great at the very beginning, and you used to see those videos pop up in your shorts feed. It'd be like, in 1776, America was created and blah, 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 blah. Now look at all those channels. They're all gone.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of trends in this space.
I love it, brother. You definitely guys are definitely the pioneers and definitely the go-to, right? Me, I'm always, get to the source, and why we've worked with Jay Abraham and Dan Kennedy and Frank Kern, and you go right to the source. And I think for anybody in this space, you guys are the source. And, if you really want to take this asset seriously, definitely have to get connected with you guys and Channel Junkies. Jesse, what's the best way for people to be able to get into your space and get into what you guys can do for them?
Yeah, I would just say go to our Facebook group, Channel Junkies, and just jump in there. That's we use that as an incubator to our stuff for the most part. We do have a YouTube channel for Channel Junkies. With YouTube in general, in coaching, YouTube for marketing on YouTube really kind of broadens the space, and there's a lot of different people from a lot of different avenues on the channel. So we've tried to reel it back into more real estate focused, because everyone in here has vested interest in recruiting agents, right?
Sure.
Well, we've even used YouTube to recruit over 1,000 real estate agents to EXP as well. So we use that influence to build a pretty good sized downline. But, when you're typing in, you're doing a video on best 5 cameras to make YouTube content, that starts going out to just creators in general. So the YouTube channel is more, trying to reel it back to real estate. So the Facebook group is 100% dedicated to real estate YouTube. So I would just go there to start your journey.
Cool. I love it. Brother, you're amazing. We'll have to run this back a little bit sooner than 2 years for sure. So
I love it.
Appreciate you jumping in. And all you guys, if you're serious about YouTube, Jesse and Jackson, Channel Junkies, that they are your guys. So get connected, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Appreciate it.
See you.
See you guys.